was trying to build my website and I was struggling because I was trying to deal with WordPress, Wix, Webflow, Squarespace, and trying to think about how to arrange it, where what pages. There are so many things, and while I was trying to do all of that, I was doing an idea dump in Notion, where I was just putting in all the things I wanted to put eventually on my website in Notion. And so after struggling with WordPress and all of them for a while, I just said, you know what, I can actually just publish this in Notion the way it is, and I will go into how I did all of that soon. But first, let's talk about when to not use Notion, because usually you start with why you should use Notion and why to use Notion. But let me start with why you should not use Notion. You shouldn't use Notion if search engine indexing is important to you, especially if you're on the free version, because you're not able to do that, and the SEO might not be great. Notion says that you can enable SEO on a page, but based on what I've seen so far, I did some Googling and it doesn't seem that Notion's SEO is really good for public pages. And then if you care about analytics, you probably should use the free version of Notion and the free all the free tools that are going to go onto how to publish your website with Notion. So when should you actually use Notion? Why should you use Notion? Notion is very easy to use. You don't have to deal with all the challenges of a regular WordPress building site like WordPress or Webflow or Squarespace. I've tried using Squarespace to build a website before. I've tried WordPress, I've tried Webflow. They all have kind of higher learning curves than Notion does. And when you use Notion, you can, oh yeah, somebody has talked about Super. I'm going to mention Super later on. When you use Notion, your updates go live as you type. Like as you're working on a page, the updates are going live. Everything you're going is updating in real time. And then you can make changes in the background. I can move out a whole page from the website, put it in the workspace, make all my edits, and then just drag it back into the website. You don't have to pay for hosting. If you're using the free plan, you don't have to pay anything at all. And before, the free plan had a block limit. So Notion works in blocks where every line is a block, every image is a block, and you had a 1,000 block limit. But now there's no block limit. And I created my Notion website when there was still a block limit. So even with 1,000 blocks, you can create a good enough website or personal website that showcases who you are and what you do. But the new plan doesn't even have a block limit. The major difference, I'll go into the major difference between the new free plan and the personal plan. And another reason why I really like Notion is because I'm a non-visual designer in tech. And a lot of UX designers and UX people, when you go to their website, it's very visual heavy, very lots of pictures, lots of interface mock-ups and all those things. And there was so much pressure when I was trying to do my website. Like, I don't have all these things. I don't do mock-ups. What am I going to put on my personal website? And I was just very stuck in terms of how to make that translate. And Notion made it very easy for me to remove that pressure of being visually heavy and thinking so much about how it looked. So free versus paid Notion. My images is not load. On the free version of Notion, what happens is that you can't, let me just refresh this page and see if it will work. On the free version of Notion, you cannot share pages publicly such that they are visible on searches, right? And that can be a challenge because you want to be able to show for people to find your websites. Let me just present from here so you can see it. Okay, so you should be able to see that now. So on the free version of Notion, you can't enable search engine indexing. This is a website. I created another website which I will show you with Notion. And then on the personal pro version, which is what I use, you can enable search engine indexing. That's like the major difference between both. them. Also, why shouldn't you use something like Card or Disha, or what makes Notion as a personal website better than those places? I think of Card and Disha as more like something like Linktree, where you can have a repository of your important links, as opposed to actually creating a website where you can present your skills, show who you are, what you do, and all those things. Card is just for you to, I think of as where you can say, oh, you can find my portfolio here, you can find my contact information here, you can fill this form to talk to me, you can access this product that I provide, all arranged like in whatever order, so that people can access those things easily. So this is what she designs. If you go to shedesigns.africa, right, you will see the website I created for She Designs, which is a woman-focused design community that I created. So let me actually just open it here for you so you can see what it looks like. And if you go there, what you see is shedesigns.africa, as opposed to when you go to a normal Notion site, what you see is Notion .so slash, and then a very messy link. You can check it out. You will see the difference between that. But if you go to my own personal website, which is ladetawork.com, what you'll see there is that notion.so slash whatever messy link. And that's because I used two different ways. For my personal website, what I did was I used the free version, where I used something called Fruition. Fruition is they have like a whole resource on how you can create your website in Notion using Cloudflare to connect your what you have created on Notion, the pages you have, to a very neat URL like She Designs Africa or She Designs Africa /about. But for my own website, what I did was a simple URL redirect. So on my domain name provider, which I use Namecheap, I just put the link to my Notion page to redirect. If you go to the work, it just redirects you to the Notion page. And that's it's very stress-free. You've done in like 5 minutes. The Notion Fruition Cloudflare combination that I use to create the She Designs website takes a little more time and can be a bit challenging the first time you do it. But when you want to make changes and updates, it becomes easier. As an alternative, if you want it to be easy, you want to get your analytics, you don't want to do too much stress, you can use super.so or hostnotion.co. These tools allow you to basically turn your Notion site into a proper like website with analytics, SEO, all those other things that most people look for when they're creating a website. So this is what Host Notion looks like. You can have custom domains and fonts, analytics and live chat. You have SEO, optimization, and all those other things. And some of them provide templates as well that you can use to. So this is what I was saying about the messy Notion link. If you use a basic URL redirect, like I use for my personal website, which is ladetawork.com, this is what you see, something like this. But if you use the whole Fruition process, or you use something like HostNotion or Super, this is what it will look like, the way the She Designs one looks like. This is what super.so looks like. You can add custom domains and fonts as well, analytics or live chats, customize social media tags, and so on and so forth. Okay, so now we're going to actually go on to how to create a simple site in Notion. So I'm going to say this background things you can do. So first of all, you need to create a workspace and an idea dump, and then you need to define what you want to put on your website, determine how many pages you need, and I recommend at least 2 pages, which is your home page and the about page. This is what you find on the She Designs website. There's a home page and an about page, and everything else links outwards. And then you create your content, and then you keep updating your website. So now let's give it a try. So I want you to go to Notion, open Notion. So I'm going to create a fresh Notion page on my own. So I want you to carry along and actually do this activity, because it will actually help it. Looks like if you go to my own personal website, you see this. And I have put in like all the things that I do and how you can contact me and all of that. So we're going to create a fresh page. Let's see, let's create a new page. So what you do is, let's say we're creating a website for somebody named Jane Doe. So we give it a name, and then what do you want on your website? You want the home page. You can have home, and then you can have about. You create a new page. To create a new page, there's a shortcut where you can just use the /, and then it brings up all these options, and then you select page, and we say about, right? And then you want to continue. Something I really like about Notion is that you can add a cover to your page. You can add icons, and let's say I'm just going to use pictures from Unsplash. Let's just look for a picture of a woman and put it on there. Okay, so yeah, let's use this. So let's say this is Jane Doe, and we have selected a picture here. So that's loading. So about me. So you're going to now put in what you do. So hi, I'm Jane Doe, a writer, speaker, etc, etc. And you write all of that, what you do, introduce yourself, and then you can go back to the home page. So here you link back, and this is another great thing about Notion. You can link pages to multiple other pages. And what we'll do here is we're going to drag this. This is a very cool thing that Notion does, where you can put things in columns. And this is kind of like a menu. So I've made this kind of like a nav bar at the top, right? So let's say we also want to create another page. We're going to pull this down so that it's on a fresh line. Or another thing I do is so that I just create multiple lines, so that when I want to go to another line, I don't have to struggle with that. So let's say services. Oh, we're creating a new page called services, or what I do. You can call it anything you like. And you can do fun things here. You can either do a table or a list that creates new pages. So let's do a table that will make into a list. Let's just type table. Okay, so let's see what I do. That's the name of the table. And you can add multiple views. So you can make your table look like a proper table, you can make it look like a calendar, you can make it look like a list. So let's go with list, because that is what I want to create. So we're going to create, so it populates it for you, and then you create a new page. So let's say I'm a writer, and then I can talk about all my writing stuff. Let's make it writing, not writer. Writing. Talk about, I write non-fiction, ads. What else can you write? Somebody help me in the comments. Non-fiction ads, emails, newsletters. So you write all the stuff that you write, and then you can add another image. So you create another page again. Other service that you provide. Let's say you're also a photographer, photography. So you can even create another table on this page separating product photography, portraits, and wedding photography. Let's say those are the things that you do. So something cool you can do is, let's say I want to turn this into a toggle list, and I can add more information into the toggle list. So I take pictures that make your products look really good and makes people want to buy them, and on and on. And then you can also do that here as well. So if you want to make things look very neat, you can do that, and then you can just hide all the unnecessary information that you don't want people to see. Yeah, so that's how you go on. And let's go back to the home page, and then you put something like, bring this, drag this as well, and adjust the bar. So let's say you type a lot of things. Let me just go and copy what I have on another website. Okay, so copy intro, copy some other things. Let's say you have resources that you want to share with people. You can create a new, we want to add a divider here to give like some visual, to give a visual break between the content. So let's duplicate this and drag this up. So now you have visually demarcated the things that are there. So we create another divider, and let's say we want to create a subsection called resources. So we have free resources. So if you created, so you can add anything here. You can add it as like a bookmark, for example. Let's say we want to create, let's say I'm the one that created Unsplash, and I want people to access free pictures that I created. So I can put Unsplash there. I can say, what else is a good resource? I'm just going to put in random stuff here to fill it up. Okay. So I can also like make it this way to save space. I can put free resources into a toggle, just like figuring out what kind of information that you need that is relevant to you. Add another divider, drag it down. Let's say connect with me. So another heading, connect with me. And then you can put your Twitter, embed twitter.com/JaneDoe, embed, and then it pulls up. Or you want people to see your tweets, you can embed your tweet history, you can embed anything. I'm going to go show my website now, what how the whole thing looks like on my website. So I've opened my website in an incognito tab so that it doesn't it looks how like another person will see it. So you have all this information, and then I've created like my portfolio space, things I can do for you, career coaching, free resources, and where you can find me online, communities I belong to. And I embedded my Calendly link directly inside here, so you can actually schedule a call from here. And this is what I was saying about Notion sometimes being slow to load. So you can directly schedule a call with me here. You can also fill a form to work with me if you want me to do anything for you. You can just do all of that there. Or you can go to the other pages. There's a projects pages if you want a product page. If you want to see the projects that I have worked on, and I created this as a table. And you can create tags in your Notion tables as well. And you can filter. You can enable people to search and filter things. You can also see my resume. I have uploaded it to Notion, so it is right there. You can see it on Notion. You don't have to download it. And if you want to download it, I will also included a link here for you to be able to download it. Let me also show you what She Designs looks like, the website. So this is the about page. She Designs is just 2 pages. Like I said, my website has many pages, but the She Designs also has just two. The home page, which shows the details of She Designs, and this is, I embedded the link to our Eventbrite page so that you can easily just go and view all the events that are happening. And then these are the subs headings on the homepage, and I've embedded links to social media sites, and then on the about page as well. So that's how simple it is to create a website on Notion. And you can either just, when you create it, you copy the link at the top in your in the URL, in the address bar, I don't know what it's called, and then you, let me show you what Frison looks like. So how I created She Designs in Frison, using Frison. And there's an like the tutorial on Frison is very, very exhaustive, that covers every single aspect of how you can convert your Notion links into a neat link like laditawork.com slash whatever. And you use Cloudflare, you need to create a Cloudflare account, which is free to use for the level at which you'll be using it. And you need to ensure that you've allowed people to view. So that's what that looks like here. When you finish creating your website, you want to make it publicly accessible. So you have to enable share to the web, and then you can choose to allow this or not. Like I said, my Notion is paid. That's why I have the option to allow search engine indexing. But if you're using the free version, you will not be able to do that. But that's not the most important thing, is to enable this so that anybody can view it. So I'm going to paste this link in the chat so you can open it and you will see that you can actually view that page that I have created, this Jane Doe website. If you can click on it and go and check it out and let me know if you can see it. Can you see it? Can you still hear me? Can you see the link? Yes, so you can see the site that we just built is right there on, and that's how easy it is. You can include as much information or as little information as you like. And as I was showing you on Fusion, they explain how exactly you can do all of that, from enabling public access. You have to buy your domain name. I'm going to show you how I do it on Namecheap, what it looks like on my Namecheap. So you can see Okay, sorry. I was saying that this is how I redirected my domain name to go from to go to that Notion site. So when you go to your whoever your domain name provider is, you go there and I put the source URL, that's my domain name, and I put the destination URL as my Notion page. So this is the actual page that my Notion, my laditawork.com points to, this page. So when you type laditawork.com, it literally just lands on this Notion page, which is different from if you do the whole Fusion process where after you have gone through the whole process, you generate your URL, the code for it. So what I did here is I typed she designs the Africa and then I imputed the messy Notion link on the she designs page. Add another link, she designs Africa slash about, and then I put in the messy Notion link again. And then it creates the code for you and you just copy it into Cloudflare and you push it into production. And I actually just changed some things here yesterday because when I came to the website, the images weren't showing. So all I did was I simply went to Fusion and copied this link again, copied it, and then pasted it in Cloudflare and it updated immediately and the images showed. And that's it. That's the process of creating your website in Notion. Also, if you don't want to buy a domain name or you can't afford to buy a domain name yet, a thing that you can do instead is you can use bit.ly, create a short link, so like bit.ly slash your name, and make shorten that Notion link that you create for your website, the homepage of your website, and make it a bit link or any other. There's also cut.ly, but I use bit.ly, and so I can say bit.ly slash laditawork, and then it will redirect my Notion page as my personal website. Does anybody have any questions? Oh wow. Sorry, I don't know why it keeps muting automatically. So the question was, if you edit the Notion file, does Notion link change? Meaning that you have to update the code. So the answer to that is no. It doesn't matter how many times you update a page, no matter what you put on it, as long as you don't delete that page, as long as you don't change that same page you use, it doesn't change. Would you advise Notion for visually heavy content like an interior design portfolio site? It depends. So if you want people to find your website via Google search, I would say no, because Notion is slow to load. Notion loads very slowly, and if you have too many pictures, it might actually make it even longer. So I would say don't do something that is very visually heavy on Notion. So it's great for like writers or like as a if you don't do too much visual stuff or you're not very visual design inclined, the Notion is perfect. If you just need like a portfolio site that is not design portfolio, use Notion. It's very easy. But if you're like a virtual assistant, if you're a writer, social media manager, all those kinds of things where you might not necessarily need to have so much visual content on your website, definitely use Notion. But otherwise, I wouldn't recommend it if you're very visual heavy. Any other question? Was anybody able to try creating their a Notion base or websites during the call? Okay, are there any other questions? Okay, so I think not. So I'm going to stop the recording.